Welcome to the Cross the Line podcast. My name is Carlos Smith, and today's episode is sponsored by Charlene's Home Cooking on 1136 East Blackstock Road in Moore, South Carolina. Charlene's Home Cooking is a family restaurant that cooks like grandma with fresh veggies, meats, and cooked to order. You can do a meat with 2 sides, meat with 3 sides, or a veggie plate along with sweet tea, Kool-Aid, and lemonade. Cakes, pies, and cobbler are also available for dessert. She wants you to come feel at home anytime you visit. So make sure you stop by Monday, Thursday, or Saturday from 11 to 6, and Friday and Sunday from 11 to 7. Everything is fresh and cooked from the heart, and she would love to see you sometime. So thank you again, Miss Charlene, for being the sponsor of the Cross the Line podcast. And let's get the interview started. So today we have a special guest. He's back again, and we finally got the project. We've been waiting on it for a long time, man. He just released it. DZA Season 2, and he's here with me right now, Mr. Troop DZA. What's going on, man?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. It finally came out. So my first question automatically is, what took this project so long to come out?
Oh, well, this is like the 3rd version of this project. So I recorded, I released 6 songs. I probably recorded 20 altogether. Maybe more, but the first time I recorded it, something happened with the engineer, and I went to the studio one day and he just wasn't there, so I never got any other songs. The second time I recorded it, the second time that I started recording it, I recorded probably like 5 to 6 records, and then I was like, I didn't like the way it was going. So basically, out of all the songs that came out, probably one song was actually, the actual DZA Season song was the only one that was supposed to be on the project.
Right.
All the rest of them was just kind of like I put them on there because it was kind of like that was the feeling, that's where it was going. So I was just going with wherever the energy was going. But you know, it took a while, but I feel like this is probably the best project that I had today. So
right, because I remember we was talking about earlier this year.
Oh yeah.
And then it came later in the summertime. I was like, man, come on, when the project coming out, man?
Yeah, man. At first I had said April. Like I recorded Let's Be For Real in March.
Yeah.
And I remember when I had it, I was like, man, I'm about to put it out before the summer because it felt like summertime. So I was like, oh, I put it out during the summer. I want to have the women, you know, rocking with it. But that wasn't God's plan. So, you know, like it didn't happen at that time. But I feel like the time that it did happen was the time that it was supposed to.
So when it finally came out, were you really ready for it this time, or was it just like kind of like strategic because you had the limestone performance, or were you like actually ready for it?
I'm gonna tell you, man, like the limestone performance and everything, like it was like my birthday, limestone, and then the album came out. So I was like, I wanted it to be a good week. So I was like, right after the limestone performance, that night at 12 o'clock, the project came out.
Right.
So if it was any, you know, students that were there that were listening, they were like, man, I want to hear some new stuff. And then, you know, they could be listening at 11:59, listen to something old, and then boom, something new pop up.
Right.
So, you know, I wanted to capitalize off of that and just, you know, stay in people's faces and be consistent.
Yeah, I think it was a smart thing to do anyway, like you say, with the performance. And I had to make sure I was there, man.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, man, there's so many performances that you did. And I always see you posting stuff either in Greenville, Atlanta, everywhere. Mm-hmm. And I was like, dang, man, every time you perform, I'm like, I can't make it. I got something going on. So I was like, man, this Thursday, I was like, man, I'm going to definitely make sure, like, I got time to go out and support you, man.
I feel like that was the best show I ever had, too, man. The energy was crazy. The energy was real crazy because I was feeding off of that energy, and I was looking at the crowd, and I would see them moving and getting, you know, a little louder, and I'm like, okay. Yeah. You know what I mean? So,
and I heard them talking. They was like, "Man, I actually like these songs, man. They definitely they were feeling that. Let's be for real, too, man. Yeah. But being there, man, it kind of made me feel old in a sense, man. You know, I'm gonna tell you what was so crazy though. Like when the teams were coming out, they was playing all these songs, and then somebody came out and Boosie set it off. Yeah. And I was like, these kids know the words, and like that came out when we was in school. So I'm like, dang, man, these kids know the word. This is word for word.
It was a vibe.
And around our time, I was like, man, that's crazy, man. I was like, man, these little kids.
They was still swag surfing.
Like, they was playing that.
You know, it was different. So
I was like, dang, man, they came out around our time. But how did that actual performance come about anyway with Limestone?
Okay, so first I'll shout out to my boy Drew Owens. Drew, I'm gonna say this, Drew behind the scenes, we talk day and night. You know what I mean? So like Drew, I mean, he still makes music, he still writes. But we used to be together in Noise Records, and this was probably like when I was like 18 or 19. But Noise kind of like molded me, so it's kind of like a lot of times, even with Dave and TJ, and I don't talk to Design, but most of the guys that I talk to, they tell me certain things to do. They're like, hey man, you're doing this, but you might be able to do this and capitalize off of it. Right. So with Drew, the lady that's over the cheerleading squad, he knew her. And I think he sent her Let's Be For Real, and she was like, yo, I love that song. That might be one of my favorite songs. So she reached out to me and was like, hey, I don't know how much you charge or what you want to do, but I really like, she was like, we're starting Saints Madness, which is kind of like Midnight Madness for them. Yeah. You know, so she was like, we kind of want to have this thing to where it's an every year thing to where, you know, our people come out of the show and, you know, see it. So it was good that I was the first performer and the only performer that they had. So it was a good vibe, man.
How did it make you feel for your family to be there?
And that was different because, I mean, you saw my son. My son, he's 3. He knows that I make music, but he's never seen me perform. Right. So when I was performing, I remember I walked up to him and I hit his head, and he was looking at me like he didn't know who I was, you know. But my daughter, she was more so like, you know, I like it, but why didn't you perform work? You know, like she would ask me why you didn't do this or why you didn't do that. But she's 9, well, she's about to be 9, so it's like certain things she's realizing and she's asking me questions about. So, you know, it goes a long way with that. But man, it was a good feeling, man. Like to see my grandma, like and man, like no pressure. Like the first bar, I'm saying, you know, catch me in my grandma's crib. I know I gotta get a plate. So, you know, for her to be there and for her to even be feeding off of that energy, it was different. You know?
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I was like, that was dope. The whole environment, your family out there.
Oh yeah.
One of the songs, 2 Times. That's really one of my favorite records off the project. He said you had a line in there about the family saying never got we talking about your own. He said never got along, but you know I'm the one. I'm her baby.
Yeah.
What was it like? Relationship like?
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. So like with that, man, to be honest, anybody that knows my mom and I, they know that like we 2 peas in a pod. Like we never got along. You know what I mean? But it's to the point where it's like now you get older, and I'm not gonna say we get along better, but I mean the respect always been there. But I know I'm getting older. I know she getting older, so I know it is what it is. You know what I mean? But it's like, you know, like as I grew up, even with me wanting to do music, I remember telling her like when I was in college, I was like, man, I want to do music. And I remember I was talking to my guidance counselor, all these people. I was like, man, I want to do music, but nobody wanted to hear me. And I remember I got so frustrated. I was like, why nobody wanted to hear me? Why nobody wanted to respect it? But you know, like with my mom, like even now, like we get along better. But it was times when I was growing up, man, it was like we never got along, or it was like, yo, I want to make music so I can get away from here. You know what I mean? Like that was my goal at times. But now I want to make music to provide for, man, her, my kids. You know, my kids. You know what I mean? But you know, the relationship has gotten better, but I just had to be honest in the music, man. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You feel like this performance kind of helped the relationship?
For sure. Because before this performance, okay, it's 2019. Before this performance, my mom hasn't seen me perform since 2011. Like, to be there. You know what I mean? So, I don't feel like in 2011 or 2010, I don't feel like I was that good. Like, I know I might have been rapping still back then, and I might have been saying, you know, like, I feel like I'm the best, blah, 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 but I was nowhere near, like, mentally where I am right now. So I feel like now if she sees me, like, and sometimes when we talk, it's more so of, I'm talking to her as a businessman instead of a rapper. Like, I'm not talking to her like, yo, this is my dream. It's like, yo, this is my business and this is what I'm about to do. Right. You know what I
feel like that can be kind of tough because you all, of course, we all have our own dreams and aspirations, and of course, our parents always want the best for us, but at the same time, they don't have our same vision. They don't. Of course, they want us to be successful, but we want to go after what we want to go after. Like, so it's kind of put us in a tough situation. But of course, you always want to take their advice and listen to what they say. But at the same time, at the end of the day, you got to make your own decisions and follow what you're really passionate about.
It's true. So, I feel like with my mom, even my dad, man, I don't think that they can see how far I can take it. Or they can't because they're not me, but I don't think anybody can see what I want to do and where I want to take it. Like, I want to create jobs. It ain't about me being a rapper. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it is about me being a rapper because I love music, but it's like, hey, we can create jobs. You know, like, I create a job. I'm an artist. Now I need security. Holler at my dog. You know what I mean? Holler, make my dog make a security business. Now he got people that work for him. Now they working for other people. You know what I mean? Just or whatever it is.
Man.
Yeah, man. You know, just create opportunities to just be better at it. So, you know, but I feel like a lot of times it's just more so y'all want to be a rapper and they don't know what's the next move.
Exactly. So, how do you feel that you changed since the actual first DZA SZN project?
A lot. I feel like I grew as a man more so, but I feel like in the first DZA SZN, if you listen to it, I mean, I was a family guy. I love rapping, but I don't feel like in the first DZA SZN, I don't feel like anybody knew me.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like in that project it was more so about bars and more so about songs, but I feel like in this project you could get a feel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could get a feel for me, how I am as a person. Like even in Big, where I say,
that's a tough verse.
yeah, it was on the second verse where I was like, I'd be like, then I gotta feed my babies and plus their babies and 500K and enough to sway me. Cause I've been studying the music business and a lot of times 500,000 is good for an advance, but that ain't enough for me. That ain't enough for what I'm trying to do. You know, so if they give you 500,000, you worth 5 million.
Exactly.
So,
and then the thing is, man, like, you know more about the business, but I pay attention to a lot of interviews, man. Like, I don't watch a lot of TV. I pay attention to a lot of interviews and study the crowd. And I was watching Cameron on Rap Radar yesterday, and he was saying somebody was telling him not to sign off his masters and all his publishing.
Yeah.
And they was like, they gave him 100,000 up front. He's like, man, you crazy? Like, I'm getting this money so I can go get these bins right now. And then he said when he looked back on it, he's like, dang, man, I wish I would have did it. Now, he said he ended up getting his publishing all that back, but he's like, at the beginning, he was just thinking about the money and just right then and there and getting that bins. He's like, I can't go back to the block without the newest bins. So that's what he was kind of like doing it for in the beginning. But it's like more so, man, you got to understand the business, like you're saying.
It's a lot of artists like that though, man. It's so many people. And prime example, man, I remember the first video I did, right? And one of my homies, I don't know if he's watching, man, but I remember he wrote me, he messaged me and was like, hey man, that video dope, but you need a chain on. Like he was like, you need to look like a rapper. You know what I mean? But that was how he was viewing it. But to me, I'm like, man, that's not why I do it. I don't even want to view music like that or even talk about music like that to where it's shallow. Yeah. You know what I mean? To where it's like, nah, man, like
you don't have to have a chain to be a rapper.
No, man, you don't. But I feel like the main thing that people miss, man, is a rapper is a businessman. Like when Jay-Z said, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. Like seriously, man, like you gotta understand it. And most of the artists that look at themselves as a business, they end up being here longer than everybody else.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's all about when we talk about branding, man. It's all about branding and getting yourself out there.
And that's one of the reasons I actually do these interviews too. Because I remember at first, like we was going to talk about sports, and then it was just going to be about entrepreneurship. And then you were actually the first music interview that I did. But at the time, I remember you and Pete hit me up, and I was like, man, I really don't want to do a lot of music interviews. And then I had a friend tell me, she was like, she said, you know, she said she was checking me. She was like, you wrong for that. I was like, what you mean? She said, she was like, remember when you were trying to get on and you were trying to do interviews, like, why would you try to shut them out? Like, you know what, you're right, because at the same time, who says that artists are not entrepreneurs?
Nah, yeah.
Y'all are entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Like, you got a brand, you got to push yourself and create your own too. So I was like, you know what, that's right, because I was like, dang, man, I was just being shallow-minded, and I was like, I was going to put myself in the box and not even do these interviews. But now I'm to a point where I actually like doing these interviews because now I'm soaking up game and I'm learning more about business, and I pay attention to a lot of these. Well, I watch a lot of interviews anyway, but especially like I try to learn about like the business as far as music, because you can still take some of that and tie it into anything you're doing anyway, business related. Yeah. So I was like, definitely, man, I appreciate what y'all doing, like as far as like the entrepreneurship and create your own opportunity, being business savvy like y'all are.
Yeah, man. Like, man, as far as like rappers being entrepreneurs, man, I don't think a lot of people pay attention to it, because if you're a rapper, you always have to be on and off. Like somebody can walk up to you, like say somebody walk up to you right now and they like, hey Lowe's, like, when can we do an interview? Or hey, I want to be on your podcast. Like, you know, they'll talk to you about that. Somebody might walk up to me and be like, hey bro, I'm a better rapper than you rap right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like sometimes I don't want to do that. Sometimes, but I mean, a lot of times it happens, and you gotta turn it on and off because you know, or it's like you gotta build yourself up because that's building your brand. So you don't want to always be a rapper that's walking around and you not business oriented, or every time somebody see you, you not sober. Because they pay attention to that. Now they like, oh, you just this type of. They put you in a box,
Exactly.
and then they don't want to give you any money because you're a liability.
And that's like one thing about it, man. I feel like, I mean, of course, y'all say people say rapper, but I try not to say rapper. I like to say artist. Because y'all are artists. Yeah. Like when you say rapper, it puts you in the box. Yeah, that's all they think. Like that's all you can do is rap. You don't think outside that box. That's all you want to do, but y'all is like more than artists.
Yeah.
I mean, more than rappers at the same time.
Yeah.
Let me ask you go back to your project real quick. Do you feel like when you push the project back that it kind of helped your streams or hurt your streams?
Now I feel like it helped it. If you would have asked me that 2 months ago, I would have been like, man, it hurt me. But I feel like what I learned. Okay, man, this is what I learned. Whenever you get ready to release a project, and if you have Spotify, and Spotify has an app called Spotify for Artists. If you're an artist, you can go on Spotify for Artists. Say my song is coming out 3 weeks from now. I submit it to playlists right now. Mm-hmm. Now it's showing up in your Spotify as unreleased music. You might get a snippet of it. I didn't know that beforehand. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Or I didn't know that you could run certain ads with Spotify. Because I've been like focusing on Spotify and SoundCloud and other applications, but I've been like directly like locked in on it because I'm like, man, if I can lock in on this and figure out how certain artists are doing certain things with these applications and making their streams bigger, then I can do the same thing. So like right now, Let's Be For Real is probably like the biggest single that I've ever had, and it doesn't have a video. And I was thinking at first, I was like, you gotta put out a video first, or you gotta put out the video at the same time as a single. Sometimes if you put out the video way later, it may hurt it, but at the same time, if you got a certain record and it's like it's big and it grows legs on its own, then you know you can go with it. Like we never saw a video for Lovers and Friends by Lil Jon and Usher.
But it was a hit.
It was a hit.
I knew it was a hit.
Michael Jackson never had a video for Butterflies and it was a hit. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's like certain things, it's like certain songs, it's like not saying I won't ever do a video for it, but it's like, man, you just gotta know how to work a record and really do it.
I think it depends, like for new artists, I would say it might help, it would probably help to do visuals.
Oh yeah.
Because I think when I think about visuals now, like a lot of people, we don't really watch videos like we used to. But the person I started paying attention to with videos for me was the Baby, like last year before he like really took off when Blank came out. Mm-hmm. I didn't really know who he was, but like one of his videos he had for one of his records, I want to say it was on Baby Talk 5. Mm-hmm. It was just like catchy. Mm-hmm. And so then I started paying attention to his videos, and next thing you know, I started listening to his music. And Baby was hard. Yeah. But like his videos, man, all his videos are entertaining though, man. Yeah. He has stuff in it that grabs your attention. So I definitely think like visuals.
He reminds me of like Busta Rhymes. Like when I was young, like Busta Rhymes videos used to come on, and I was like, man, I had to lock in. Because you know, Busta Rhymes used to come in, he had like the big arms. Yeah. The big, you know, he looked crazy, and it's like, man, you know, so I paid attention to that too. So yeah, man, the visuals definitely are important.
It's crazy to see how he took off though, man. Like the Baby,
yeah,
it's crazy.
Well, man, it's
from when he was. I remember last year. It was one point in time when Instagram was just like a small portion of anything. But I remember when I seen him, he probably had maybe like a couple 100,000 followers. Now he's over like 6.5 million. Yeah, and that's like this dude was just steady grinding. And I'm gonna tell you what else I paid attention to. Like he's starting to do some things. I think this helped any artist. Like I watched him when he went to sit with Gary Vee, and Gary Vee was telling him, man, make sure you kind of like interact with your audience. So he started doing things I was watching on Instagram where like he'll pull up to a city, but he'll do like give away maybe like 30 tickets. That way you can do like a meet and greet, stuff like that. So your audience, like your fans, they appreciate that kind of stuff. But they can go in and give you a picture. Yeah, exactly. So he was listening to taking their advice from Gary Vee. Now I see him like when he's going to different cities. Now he's actually doing this kind of stuff, interacting with the fans. Of course, he always jumped in the stand in the audience when he's doing shows. But like we pull up to the cities, like he might do like a little private meet and greet and stuff like that. Just more interaction with your fan base. So I think that's something else big too.
And with him, he took off. Well, he started using Trigger. And Triller is an outlet. A lot of
I seen
artists,
though, yeah.
yeah, listen, a lot of artists don't, you know, he'll get on Triller and he'll dance, you know, and he'll have fun and everything, but he really turned Triller up. And it's like with him, he always has content. Always.
Yeah.
Always. So it's like that's what it's about.
And and his team, they always follow him around like that. And it's like I think they were saying something about like people just like to be entertained, man. They just like to see what you got going on. So like anywhere he going, like a photo shoot, he go to the grocery store, he always got somebody with a camera recording every single thing that he's doing. So he's giving the people what they want to see, just like that kind of interaction and making them feel like, man, he's like one of us and stuff.
I was just about to say that, man. He makes them feel like they're a part of it, or he makes them feel like they're one of his people. Because a lot of times, man, like I watch him a lot, bro, and like he'll go in a gas station and warm up some noodles and like eat noodles and just be talking to people. You know what I mean? So it's like he's smart about how he's marketing, man. And I've been learning a lot from what he's been doing also.
Yeah, it's super smart.
Oh yeah.
Do you I'm gonna ask you back to your project again about the EP. Do you feel like putting out a record before your EP drops kind of helps? And I break it down like this because I watched something else on Joe Budden podcast, and Maul made a point on that, and I agree with. He was talking about Ross' album, and he was saying how Ross like put out Big Time and the record with Wale at the Fool before the project came out. So he was like, now when the project comes out and the record with Drake, you skipping those songs.
Yeah.
Do you feel like when you do it, of course I like to listen to it, but like it was like when you hear them ahead of time, it's like, man, I already heard this song. Let me skip to the next. Do you feel like that?
For sure. Now that does hurt. So like what you said, Big Time and the song that he had with Drake. I just feel like it's certain records where it's like if you got the project and that record was on there and you never heard it, oh my God, you would be like, man, this is crazy. Yeah. You know what I mean? With me, one thing that I learned is that I had to learn it is like, okay, yeah, it's gonna hurt, but also at the same time, and this goes back to the business side of it. At the same time, they may skip what you listening to your project or whatever when it comes out, but every stream that you got beforehand, because it has that UPC code or because they know it's your voice and they know it's your song, it doesn't matter if you sold 15,000 units on the song. When that album comes out, those 15,000 will be counted toward that album. So that's why somebody like Tiger may put out 4 to 5 double platinum songs, and the week of the record comes out, and now his album is gold already. And people like, bro, there's nowhere we buying a Tiger record. No disrespect to Tiger, but it's like Tiger selling 500,000 in this day and age is right. It's right because it's like he's doing the right business side of it. No matter if we heard the song or not, like you may skip it, but you didn't skip it those 15,000 other times that the song plays, so, or 15 million, whatever,
Because like I said, I listen to it, but it's like it kind of takes away some of that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It takes something away from him because like, man, I already heard this record.
For sure.
So, but I was like, should you still put out at least one record from it, and then like maybe just put out other songs that's not actually on your project?
Okay, so that's something that I did. Okay, so like we talked about it. DZA Season 2 was supposed to come out a long time ago. So it's certain records like Raw, Believe, 2 Times came out. 2 Times was actually supposed to be the intro to the actual album. And and Denial was not supposed to be on the album.
That's a hard song.
So that's like 4 records right here that was associated with the project that wasn't even supposed to be on it. But I called them Lucy's, and then I had a song called I think it's called Ignorant, where I got on that Ignorant beat by Jay-Z, but it was just kind of like a mixtape kind of record, you know what I mean? But those are what I call fillers, so I did try to put some of those out, but I feel like records like No Pressure and Let's Be For Real, like I sat on Let's Be For Real for 5 months. I didn't even want to put it out because I was singing them. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it was like, I didn't want somebody to be like, oh, here you go trying to be Drake. Yeah. But and then it got to a point where I was like, bro, I don't care if you think I'm trying to be Drake because I'm trying to be Drake.
I gotta be honest, the first time, like when you dropped the clip for it earlier this year, at first I was like, I don't know about this record.
Yeah.
Cause I just heard like a little piece of it, and I guess I was just so used to you just rapping or whatever. Yeah. So then, like once I started listening to it more and more, I was like, I get it, man. You're stepping out the box. Yeah. And that is catchy. I like the record now, but at first I was like, man, I don't know.
Yeah.
But now it's something different, man. It's a dope tune now, man.
Appreciate it.
I really like that. What What made you leave off when you sent me the project? You left off one record called.
Oh yeah, ain't it?
What made you leave that off of it? That song
it's hard
too.
It's coming.
Tough.
It's coming. You know, but man. Okay, so this is what Drew and I had talked about. So this is season 2 is supposed to be like part 1. So I was planning on putting out this is season 3 like real soon. Like I'm talking like in like the next 2 to 3 months. But I don't want to rush it. So like Ain't It is gonna come out, but Ain't It was supposed to end the whole project. Like the project was supposed to be 2 times big, no pressure, let's be for real, denial, and then Ain't It. So so DZA season wasn't gonna be on it. DZA season was gonna start the next project. But I was like, I can't leave that off. And Ain't It was just so hard, and it felt like it was supposed to end the album.
Yeah, I said this is good. This could close it out.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
yeah. But I mean, it's coming. You know what I mean? But yeah, a lot of people I sent them Ain't It a while ago, and they're like, bro, you tripping? Like it's So it's records like that. To me, man, I sat with this project so long, and for me to actually have the 6 songs that I put out, it was hard because it was like those aren't even the songs that I wanted to put out. Like I sat with them so long, I was like, I don't even want to put Let's Be For Real on the project.
Yeah.
Like I was like, Let's Be For Real need to be like a standalone, or No Pressure need to be a standalone. You know what I mean? But the way I put it together, I was like, if I was an A&R, if I was in control of my label or control of my project like I am, then what would I do? So, you know, that's kind of why.
Speaking of A&Rs, you go to a lot of these classes in Atlanta. Like, what do you take away from these classes when you go sit with A&R?
Man, a lot of knowledge. First off, when I go there, man, the classes cost $25. So it's like, you know, the classes are at 10 o'clock in the morning, and a lot of times when I go there, the people that's over the classes will say only the hustlers get up at this time. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm actually getting up, and even on Big, well, I say, you know, I'm good with the anthems. I wake up at 7, 85 to Atlanta. Like I real life had woke up at 7 and drove 85 to Atlanta for a class that day. You know what I mean? So it was like I use those classes to learn more, but they teach you about marketing, and they teach you about certain things that we won't learn around here because nobody knows, or somebody will know, but they don't want to tell you. You know what I mean? They may have their own label or situation going on. They're like, well, I'll really give my people out of the game. And if you want to be on this label, cool, but there's 5 people in front of you, so you got to wait your turn. You know what I mean? So me, I'm like, well, I'd rather take advantage of me being, and like, I don't have a label, nothing. So it's like me being independent. I'm buying all of my beats. I'm doing all of this stuff. So it's like, go invest in that time, go and invest in the classes. I don't have anybody else to send to Atlanta to go do it. Right. So I go do it. You know what I mean? And then I go and I meet these people. And then in Patchwork, man, it's inspiring to me because I walk in and you walking down the hallway and you seeing Stankonia plaques on the wall. Or you seeing The Love Below and by Outkast, you know, and this record sold 10 million records. Where can you go in South Carolina right now that you can see a plaque with 10 million sold?
Nowhere really.
You know what I mean? So it's like it's like to go places and to be in the presence, to feel that energy, and for them to give you game for 2 hours. You know what I mean? For $25, man, you can't beat it, man.
If you could share one piece of advice from those classes with artists around this area, what kind of advice would you get them from what you've been learning?
Build your buzz. One thing, I went to a class with Wendy Day, man. Wendy Day is over the Rap Coalition. And the Rap Coalition was like this, it was not even a project, but it was a group that she started back in the 90s. And she basically helped artists for free. Like, she wasn't getting any money at first. But what she told me, she was like, if you stay right here, and this is where a lot of people go wrong because they rely on the internet. If you stay right here, say you stay in Greenville, you mark around Greenville 2 to 3 hours distance from you to each city. You go to each one of these cities and you make yourself a staple. Like it doesn't matter if you like. She really told me that when you making a campaign, you really gotta be hugging people and kissing babies because you're an artist. and you trying to sell it.
That's what I'm saying. That's what the baby doing. Like, when he go to these cities now, he's doing like meet and greets and meeting all these people.
Exactly,
so
man.
He taking it in.
Yeah, somebody, like you said, Gary Vee put them on. So it's like when somebody puts you on, man, or somebody tell you information, a lot of times they won't even open their mouth to tell you nothing unless they really believe that you can do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So a lot of times, like when she told me that, she was like, okay, you in Greenville, you go hit Atlanta, you go hit Asheville, you go hit Nashville if you got to, you go hit Charlotte, you go hit Charleston, Columbia, but you hit all these places and you make them believe. You know what I mean? Like you just make them believe that you undeniable. And then eventually everywhere they go, like somebody from Atlanta come to Greenville, they might stop at a gas station, they like, I can see truth everywhere. You know what I mean? So now it's like, you know, it's...
Do you feel like you get more support now home? Like at home now, or is it still kind of like the same for you?
I'm getting more now, man. South Carolina is a weird place because a lot of times when I go other places, and I'm sure other artists they know, but they tell us that South Carolina is a follow state. It's
we
like,
always slow on music.
Yeah,
Definitely slow on music.
Yeah, so it's like a lot of people tell us, even like I seen an interview Boosie did. Boosie was like, South Carolina and North Carolina has so many quote unquote urban. You know, they say urban when they mean black, but urban places that you can go to and get a bag. Like he can go to Spartanburg, Charleston, and Columbia in the same night if he really wanted to, starting at 6:00 p.m. And by the time he get to Charleston, it's 1 a.m. They gonna be mad, but he gonna perform for 30 minutes and then you go home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like so many places here that they can actually come to and get money. You know what I mean? And I feel like with South Carolina is a follow state. So if they see Atlanta rocking with me, or if they see Charlotte rocking with me, and it's crazy, but they gonna be like, yo, that's the homie.
But it's always what they say though. It's like, the people that you don't know support you more than the people at home. But that's because
they're not looking at you like I know him, so I don't want to support him, or they're not looking at it like I'm not even. Town is that if somebody supports this person, they won't support this person because now I want this person to blow up before you go in the same place.
We trying to do the same thing, got the same goal, man. Like the crab in the bucket mentality, man.
Crazy.
Which I hate that, man. Like just because you support one person doesn't mean you can't support the other person. Like we gotta support each other, man.
Like if I see anybody, I'm in control, man. If I see anybody doing anything good, I support it, bro. Like when I see you doing your podcast, I share it. If I see Crystal doing anything, I share it, man. Right. It's not like I'm just like, man, I don't do podcasts, so I ain't supporting it. That don't make sense to me.
Just like when I seen you and Pete, y'all used to drop the same day, so it was important to me. It was important to me because when I seen it, man, I was like, man, I'm gonna post this because I listen to both of y'all music. Yeah. So I posted the music that was in my rotation. Of course, I had YB and Corday and Nipsey and all. That was important to me because I was like, man, I appreciate what y'all doing, man, putting in the work. I was like, man, so I was like, anytime y'all do something, man, I'm definitely gonna try my best to support as much as I can. Shout out to Pete too.
That's my dog.
We got him coming up here soon too, so we definitely gonna talk some more. Well, I want to ask you about radio. What purpose do you feel? Now, I worked at a radio station a few years ago. I was just like running the board and producing at the time. But what purpose do you feel radio serves today? Because to me, I was talking to my man Brandon Golden a while back, and I was telling him, man, I really don't know, kind of like for an artist, when you make a record, should you make a record for radio now, just for radio play? Of course, you need to get as many fans as you can, but like, is it important to get radio now? Because it's like, to me, it feels like a dying industry because now,
dinosaur,
because now it's like, if I want to listen to my favorite artist's music, all I gotta do is pull it up on my phone, and it's like direct to consumer instead of trying to get in your car or wherever you listen to the radio, and you're waiting to see if they're gonna actually play your song. Now, all I gotta do is pull it up on my phone, watch it on YouTube, anything, and now I'm listening to what I want to listen to instead of like waiting on the radio to play it.
This is true. So like with the radio is important. I don't want to say that it's not important at all, but like with the radio, it's still no better feeling than actually hearing your song.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like last week, I was on the radio with DZA SZN. Shout out to him on 96.3 The Block, and I was. He put out what we premiered, Let's Be For Real, and he played No Pressure right afterwards, right? Even after I did the interview and I went home, man, it felt good to hear that night because I was like, man, this is a crazy feeling. You know what I mean? Even though I've heard my song a million times. But with radio, I feel like radio can also put you in the faces of a lot of other people.
Right.
Because a lot of other people, like, say, you know, they might be listening to you on the radio, and, you know, you can use the Shazam app, and you can actually hear, you can Shazam it and pull up the song. And with artists, I don't know how many people pay attention to this, but I have all the apps. So Shazam, I see when people Shazam me.
Mm-hmm.
I see when they're listening. I see what city they're in. You know what I mean? So I pay attention to all that. But like with radio can put you in the faces of so many people. You know what I mean? Even if it's just a ride home, they might be like, man, I remember when I got off work and I heard Let's Be For Real for the first time.
Right.
You know what I mean? So radio always, it still gives you a feeling, but it is kind of a, you know.
Because it's just so many outlets now. Mm-hmm. Like you got iTunes, you go to SoundCloud or Google Play or wherever you want to listen to music. It's like so many different ways that you can hear the content that you want to hear instead of radio. So that's why I'm like, of course, if you can get on radio, get the radio play or whatever. But I'm like, is that the main goal now? Because it's just like, it's so many different ways, and it's just like radio is like the old way of doing things.
To me, it's not the goal. To me personally, I'm gonna tell you what my goal is, man. My goal is to like get in as many phases as possible. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So like, if the radio helps, cool, but that's not the end game. You know what I mean? So it's like nah, it's cool, but I don't want to be focused on that. Like me, man, like I told you, I've been focused on Spotify because Spotify shows me so many analytics. Like, prime example, when I performed at Limestone the day after, I could see my numbers spike, and I could see people in Gaffney were listening to it. You know what I mean? So it was dope to see that. With Apple Music for artists, I'm not able to see that. Well, certain other applications for artists, I'm not able to see it. You know what I mean? And if you don't know about these applications, they won't tell you because they don't want you to know. You know what I mean? So
you feel like, I wonder if it's just hip hop or just the music industry, period, where it feels like you said, they don't want you to know stuff, and like you was talking about earlier, like artists getting these bad deals. Do you feel like that is it hip hop or just music industry, period, where it feels like it's just set up to like all artists?
To be honest, it's hip hop. I don't feel like it's the music industry, period, because man, we might get deep here, but to be honest, hip hop is full of black men. If you got a bunch of black men that has multiple opportunities to be millionaires, but they don't know that they can be they don't know that they can be millionaires, or they don't know the business. They're looking at it like, man, if I can rap, just like how you said with Cameron, if I can rap and make $100,000 for an advance, I made it. But then, like I told you, if they give you $100,000, they'll give you $1 million. Exactly. So if they say, hey, we'll give you $100,000, that's when you need to be like, what's up with $300,000? And then if they say, okay, we'll do that, keep going. You know what I mean? Keep demanding more money, but be in control of it. Never sell your masters, never sell your publishing. Mm-hmm. There is no reason, and this is random, but there's no reason why R. Kelly doesn't own I Believe I Can Fly, and that man wrote it. I don't care what we think about him, that's another day. But it's like, there's no way that you don't own that. If you own that record,
that's crazy.
It can change your whole life.
Record. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I watched, I remember it was Remy. She was saying that when she was rapping, she said Big Pun told her from the jump, she said, whatever you do, don't sign over your master. Do not do it. Whatever you do, I don't care what you do, sign to whatever. Do not just sign over your publisher and all that stuff, because then they own you, right? Yeah, they own you.
They own you.
And I remember, and I watched Master P as well. Like, I'm telling you, I just watch a lot of these interviews with him. And Master P was like, him and his brother C Murder got into it at the time because he said they had a meeting to do a record deal, and he said they were trying to get him maybe like $1 million for a deal. And he said, I'm gonna go get something to eat and I'll be back. He said they hopped on the plane, went back to the hood, and he said his brother was mad at him. He was like, man, why you turn the deal down? And this is exactly what he said. He was like, he said, if that white man gonna give me $1 million, what you think I'm worth?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like you said, a lot of times, man, if somebody get that kind of money up front, it's like, it's hard to turn it down because, like, man, we never seen that type of money before. I like it.
They are looking for a return of investment, ROI. It is like flipping money, man. If I can put $2 million right here for 2 years and I can make $10 million and the artist don't know, man, but that's how they do it. That's how they view it. You know what I mean? And like I said, man, it's because it's hip hop, and it's because it's music in general, man. I just feel like the world takes advantage of people who don't know any better. Or who don't want to learn any better. So, you know, ignorance is bliss. But I feel like a lot of times when it comes to like hip hop, especially hip hop, man, they take advantage of these young men because they don't know any better, or because they think, you know, I'm famous. You know what I mean? They blow it on their names.
And I don't want to pick on them, but I remember watching a Breakfast Club interview, and Blueface was on there. And his manager came on there, and they was asking Blueface that he know about his deal. He was just sitting there like he didn't really know. And then his manager came on there and said, "We take 20% of what the artists make or whatever." And I'm thinking to myself, I don't have no manager, but 20% sound
first off,
that sounds like a lot.
If Blueface knew better, he would know that 15% is what most managers ask for in the beginning. 20% is something you need to be like, bro, you said
20%.
No,
I'm telling you, that's insane. It's like, man, that's why I was like, I don't know if it's just hip hop that does that, or it's just like the overall music industry where it's like basically seeing like your first deal, you get robbed. Like you don't even know.
Megan Thee Stallion is in a bad deal. Okay, check this out. Megan is signed. And she knows us, man. I don't know. I don't even know why she signed with Roc Nation as management. Megan is under 300. 300 is under. No, she's under 1501 or whatever it is, 1501, whatever the label is. Then that's under 300. After that is Roc Nation. After that you got Megan. So you mean to tell me you just gotta go through 3 people and she the hottest independent? Well, she the hottest female rapper out right now. And it's 3 people that still got their hands in her bag before she started.
That's another thing. I don't. Is it worth signing a deal or just staying independent now? Because I feel like social media. If you got social media behind you, that's basically your hype machine now. Like, that's what you can use to like. It's like the baby before the baby signed. Like back to the baby. Like before he signed, like he was going on social media.
The baby was signed to Roc Nation.
So I heard he was trying to work out a deal or something, but it fell through.
Throw the rock in the air like I'm Jay-Z. Got a Glock on me now and I still do it. He was signed to Roc Nation. You know what I mean? Like he was signed to him. It's just like the Migos. The Migos were signed, but they were still saying we indie. Chance is the only person that I know, and you know, like Joe Budden got mad because he was like, "How does you know Joe gets mad?" He was like, "How is Chance independent?" And he got this deal with Apple to where Apple gave him this money or Apple featured him. First off, Chance is one of the cleanest rappers that you're gonna find. You know what I mean? Second, Chance can rap. Chance has good music. If Chance is independent, there is no reason why Apple Music would say, "Hey, we're gonna go and give your money to 4 other people before we give it to you." That's not how it works. So it was probably like, we like what you're doing. It kind of reminds us of us, and we're gonna give you some money. You know what I mean? Right. So, you know, that's how it goes, man.
Let's change gears a little bit again. We're gonna get out of here shortly. Overall, how do you feel about? And I'm gonna ask this again when we get to the round table. So far, I mean, the year's almost over now, but the year in hip hop this year, how do you feel like it was?
As far as like overall, I feel like it was a real good year, man. Not gonna lie, man. Well, as far as music goes, man, I've been listening to R&B like Summer and Ari Lennox. I love Ari Lennox.
I gotta listen to Ari Lennox. I haven't heard her.
Man, was dope. I seen Ari live, and Ari is just she just got good energy. But as far as like hip hop goes, I feel like Ross had a good one. It's a few others I know I'm missing right now.
Ross in my top 5.
Tyler the Creator, man. I know I talked to you about it. I know you said, but
he was hit and miss with me, man.
Yeah.
Some of his records, I like some of Earthquake.
Earthquake was fire.
It's tough.
Yeah, it was so different.
Yeah. But some of it was kind of hit and miss with me, though.
Definitely. But I mean, overall, this was a good year, man.
It was a good year, but then for me, I'm actually breaking it up now. Then it was a good year, but then to me, Nipsey kind of like changed the whole year for me.
Oh yeah.
Like when I found out about Nipsey passing away, man, it still has me down now. Like I've never been affected more by an artist.
It didn't feel like it was supposed to happen.
Yeah, it just felt so wrong, man. Because it is wrong, but it was just like when Nipsey passed away, man. Like it hurt a lot of people. It hurt me.
Yeah.
to me, hip hop wasn't really the same.
Nah, man.
I mean, of course, we still got some dope albums this year, but I just feel like when Nipsey passed, like it forced a lot of artists to kind of like put things on hold, put things in perspective.
Yeah.
But it was just like, to me, it still just felt like it was a dark cloud.
Yeah, man, that hurt. I mean, like, to be honest, like, Nipsey was one of those things, like, you remember where you were when it happened. Like, I remember, like, I woke up and people was texting me, like, bro, like, Nipsey dead. You know, we talking like, that's the homie. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But at the same time, it's like, man, Victory Lap was one of those albums where it's like, man, this album's going to take not even hip hop, West Coast hip hop to another level. Like it felt good, and it felt like that it's not gonna be anybody else that's gonna make that type of music. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
I still feel like it's the best album. Like right now, I mean, I listen to Victory Lap
all the time. Yeah, me too.
All the time.
Big Crit had a good album too.
Yeah,
I forgot about that album. Yeah. Big Crit had a really good album.
And it just, I don't know, man. It just, that really just, it hurt me. Like, I knew him personally or something, but I just kind of like, I like the way he carried himself and like how he tried to put his people on and how he was about like ownership and stuff. So he really was probably like one of the main people that I really paid attention to. Like, I still watch some of his interviews now. I watched one yesterday when he was on Rap Radar, man, and he was just, he was put you on game
all the time.
A lot of stuff.
Business.
Yeah, he was just business savvy, man, and he was smart, and how he just put people on, man. So I just feel like this year it was just one the same after Nipsey died.
Hey, that was so early.
Early. I remember I was actually he actually died on my dad's birthday. It was that Sunday, and I actually had took a nap, and when I woke up, I had to look on Twitter, and it just said "Rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle." I was like, "Come on, man, this can't be real." Yeah. So I called my homeboy Calvin. I was like, "Man, you seen this about Nipsey?" He's like, "Yeah, man. Somebody shot him and killed him." I was like, "Man, that bothered me so bad, man. Like it still hurt me, man, because I mean I was like really like the way Nipsey was moving, and then like." I wish I would have watched the video.
I didn't know. I was just about to say that. I was in the
wrong way, man. I woke up, it was probably like 10 o'clock at night when I seen it. I was like, man, this can't be real, man.
And I feel like with Rats in the Middle, when he put that song out, man, it felt like he was about to take it to another level. Like, I remember when I heard Rats in the Middle, I was like, bro, what is this? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and it was him and Roddy Ricch, and I'm like, okay, you know, it was just so many things, man. Like, that whole video, like, you know, he in the video with his grandma, you know what I mean? Like, it's all type of stuff that it's like, even the song that he got with Khaled, I don't know if that man knew he was about to die, but it was like...
The video, was, man, he gave it chills, man. It seemed like he knew, like, it felt like he knew his time was coming. I don't think he wanted to die, of course, but it was just like, they had to edit the video. Because the way it was, man, it was just like...
It looked angelic.
Yeah, it was just like a perfect send-off or something, man. And I was telling Calvin, man, I was like, man, you look at the name of his album, Victory Lap. It's like your last go around. Right? So all that stuff, man, it gives me chills. But it's like, man.
And then if you listen to Blue Laces 2, it sounds like he talking about himself. And even in Blue Laces 2 and then Rats in the Middle, when he was like, how you died that game? Yeah, how you died at 30-something after the game all years. Yeah. Come on, man. You know what I mean?
Like about his homeboy,
But it sound like, you know, he's talking about him. You know what I mean? Like,
it's crazy.
But at the same time, as an artist, like when I hear stuff like that, I'm like, man, where could you go mentally that will make you write something like that? Or how down? Because a lot of people, you know, a lot of times they hear artists make not even sad songs, but just songs that deal with bad situations, and they're like, man, that's one of my favorite records, but your favorite artist was depressed right there. You know what I mean? Like,
and he actually, in that interview I watched, man, they actually talked about his homeboy that had passed. And it was like towards the end of the interview, whatever, he got emotional talking about it, man. It was just like, so you could tell that it really bothered him, man. But I still listen to Victory Lap. I like Crenshaw was a classic, man, and Mailbox Money, like all this, everything, man. It's just like he affected so many people, man, and touched so many people. Like I just like, man, that's the one thing, man. I just like, to me, just put a dark cloud overall on hip hop, man.
And it's one more thing that I want to point out about Nipsey. Nipsey had a smart story, and I'm sure you noticed that. Yeah. But if you had a shirt that had "The Marathon Continues" on it, and somebody was walking up and they just put their phone to your shirt, his video played. How, like, bro?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I would have never thought of that. You know what I mean? So I was like,
he was just so far ahead of his time, man. And it's still 2 records that I have a hard time listening to now because it made me want to cry, man. It was one of my favorite records I videoed out was the record with Marshall Ambrosius.
Oh yeah,
Real
yeah.
Big,
Yeah.
that record, and it was on Mailbox Money. That's how I knew.
Mm-hmm.
And like towards the end of That's How I Knew, he was just talking about how the time that we in, one of the best times, man. You gonna see like a lot of these big companies crumbling and these little small companies rising.
Yeah.
Like he was just talking about all the stuff. And he was saying how he knew he was different from everybody else, man. So I was like, man,
because he saw it.
yeah, that's like, man, it's a vision. That's like, man, we'll never get another Nipsey again, man. Like we'll never see nothing like that. So he definitely was one of the people that inspired me, man. But I was like, man, if I can even at least try to do half of the stuff he's doing, trying to put people on, create their own opportunity, and push ownership, because our people, we don't own anything, man. Like we need to try to own stuff and create our own opportunities for our people, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's something we need to push more. And he was all for it, man. So
it's so much stuff, like as far as like being like an entrepreneur, man. Like I learned from him and I learned from other people, just like you said about owning stuff, because man, I mean, like, it's certain things, man, the music business is so dirty. Say all 3 of us go in the studio right now and I pay for the session, right? Mm-hmm. I own the masters, but you don't know that.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? So I own everything we did because I paid for it. You know what I mean? So that's why certain labels, when an artist get in the deal, the label be like, hey man, you know, you might be like, hey, I want to go record at Speed Life or Patchwork. And they like, nah, go record down the street because that's what we paying. And then you go and it might be dope, it might be a vibe, but now they own your music. You know, so it's dirty, man. I mean, if you don't know, you don't know, but when you know, you know.
It's like you gotta know, it's a line between friends and business.
Yeah.
I remember it was a guy, I think his name was LV. It's something that came up on YouTube called Rules to This Bleep.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, one day he was talking to Diddy, and Diddy, I think he produced a record or something. Diddy was like, yo man, why don't you go ahead and sign this deal for me? He's like, and he was like, wait a minute, so you mean tell me if I sign this, you own all the stuff?
Yeah.
He's like, nah, I ain't about to do that. And then he said, right after they did, it's like, so we about to go to the club, man. You want to go?
Yeah.
He's like, they let you know right then and there. It's a line between friends and it's business.
Yeah.
Like you can't get it mixed up.
Diddy used to sign people and then charge them $200,000 for him being in their videos. It's like
remember they were saying it was a story with the Locks or something where they were signed to Diddy and they got into it. Was something I heard they were talking about on one of the interviews with the Locks. I think they was signed to Bad Boy or something.
Yeah.
And they wanted to get out of their deal or something, and they got into it with Diddy or something. But I was like, man, it's crazy how these deals, like artists, just sign stuff, but they don't know what they're doing. They just take the money and run away. But let's get ready to wrap it up. Before we get out of here, I got like 5 questions. I put together something different in this interview, and it's no right or wrong. It's just your personal opinion. And we talked about Summer Walker earlier, so I'm gonna give you some options.
Okay.
Summer Walker album, Over It or SZA Control?
Ooh, Control. Man, listen, but it's only because I sat with Control for maybe 2 to 3 years, but I know every word from Control as a man.
Control.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
it's tough.
Yeah,
that's a tough one, man.
Yeah,
I don't know. I gotta be honest. I didn't know who Summer Walker was before I heard her on Ross' album. That was the first time I ever heard of her. But then when she came out with her album, I was like, man, Over It. It's dope, man. I don't know about that one. I might.
Over It is really good. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I might listen to Over It when I leave today. Like, so I mean, it's a dope album.
Which one you got? Over It or Control?
Control. I'll go with Control.
Go with.
But it's only one song on Control that I skip. The song, I think it's Prom. I can't stand that song.
The little upbeat.
Yeah, you could have killed that one, baby. You know what I mean? But outside of that one, I'm like,
I think I might go with Control. Alright. I came up with this. Like if I was an artist, which I'm not, I said if I needed a hook for a record, I would either reach out to John Legend, Marshall Ambrosius, CeeLo Green, or Chris Brown. You can only pick one. You got to take one of those.
It depends if you need a hit or what you saying.
You just want a record and you need one of them on the hook.
If you need a hit, you gotta call Breezy. But I feel like if you, I feel like I can make a whole project with CeeLo. Like, cause how soulful he is and how different he is, and CeeLo could, he could mix it up, and Marsha,
you can throw.
Yeah,
Marsha, man, when she got on Nipsey record.
Yeah,
man.
Marsha wrote Butterflies, man. She wrote Butterflies for Michael Jackson, so I'll never her pen game is strong, but I mean it just depends. Like we talking about hits, breezy.
You take Chris Brown.
Yeah.
Best rap out of these: Kendrick, Cole, Drake, Big Sean, and Sahara the Prince.
Man, come on, man. Best rapper?
Yeah.
The best rapper out of that really is Sahara.
I agree.
Like, I mean,
Sahara, he has his wordplay, man. He's some of the best lyrics I heard.
Yeah. Kendrick is next level, yeah. But we talking about like technique, Sahara.
Yeah. All right. Two more.
All right.
TM 101 or Get Rich or Die Trying.
Man, come on, man. Okay, so I'm gonna put it this way. I'm gonna have to go with Jeezy, and 101 was so hard. Get Rich or Die Trying is really hard too, but I remember being in high school and I remember the impact Jeezy had. I remember the.
You wore that shirt to school. You going home?
Yeah. That was definitely gonna send you home if you wore that shirt. Yeah. So that the impact of that project, and it was certain lines, man. Like I used to hit kitchen lights. Cockroaches everywhere, now hitting kitchen lights, now marble floors everywhere. It's like certain things that just, in 50.
Get Rich or Die Trying was hard.
Man.
When he came out, I think Jeezy had a bigger impact on the culture with 101.
Yeah, for sure.
Man, it was, like you said, the Snowman t-shirt. Man.
Yeah, all of that.
I don't know.
That's hard. Yeah.
Get Rich or Die Trying was a classic, though, man.
Yeah, Get Rich or Die Trying is a classic hip-hop album.
That was one of the best debut albums I heard, man.
Yeah, me too. Same here. I feel like Kendrick got the best debut album I ever heard.
Really?
Out of anybody, yeah. Good Kid, Mad City, like. I remember I bought that album and Dreams of Night, man. I told you this last time. No disrespect to me, but I bought both of those projects on October 22nd, 2012. And I remember, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I remember putting in Meat and I skipped like 5 songs. I put in Kendrick album and the album got to the end before I was like, bro, whoa. You know what I mean? So.
Ain't it crazy how we don't even have CDs now?
Yeah.
Just from that time span to now.
That was just 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Show you how fast time changing.
Yeah, man.
So which one you had? You had 101 or?
Yeah, I'll go 101.
Alright. I think I'm gonna skip it. The question for you anyway. Alright, this is the last one. Blueprint or Illmatic?
Oh, man.
That's hard.
I gotta go with Blueprint. I love Illmatic. I named my son Nasir. You know what I mean? Like, my son is named after that man. You know what I mean? But like, I feel like with Blueprint, I remember, man, prime example, Blueprint came out September 11, 2001. I remember, I was a kid, but it was like, I remember that album came out, and I remember how much he made it a deal because it came out on September 11. You know what I mean? And like, I remember certain things, I remember listening to it and him saying, I can sell salt to a snail. I'm a hustler, baby. I can sell water to a well. You know what I mean? And I was like, bro, you know what I mean? Like, it's certain things that Jay-Z said on that project that molded me, or man, you want to be a rapper. You know what I mean? So
it's 2 classics, man.
Yeah, man.
Matter of fact, I got an idea of something else we gonna work on as well. I just thought about it, but that was the last one, the Blueprint or the Illmatic question. All right, getting back to you real quick before we get out of here.
Okay.
Do you have an idea when you want to? I know this one just came out. Do you still have an idea when you want to drop DZA Season 3?
February or March.
February.
I really want to do it before South by Southwest. I want to go to South by Southwest, and I want to have a full steam. This is my mind. Look, this is where I'm at right now. I want to have a full mind, like a full steam behind DZA Season 2, 3 to 4 videos out, and boom, hitting with another one. So you know what I mean. After the 4th one, I'm stopping. So I'm gonna do 4 of them because it's only 4 seasons. You know what I mean? Right. But I wanted to bring a different feeling to each one. So just like the Naya and Leslie for real came back to back, and then you got 2 times. I feel like the first 3 songs is one of his own in the project, and the last 3 is one of his own. Like it's 2 different separate moves. You know what I mean? Right. So I want to continue doing that. So third one should be out by then.
But biggest lesson you learned this year, and that's it.
Biggest lesson I learned this year is don't quit, man. You know, it's a lot of people that stop or they give up. Or matter of fact, don't quit and be consistent. I know that's one and the same, but man, when you're consistent, it doesn't matter if somebody be like, man, I'm tired of seeing you post your music. Okay, you tired, but I don't care because you only one person. You know what I mean? But you gotta always be consistent. Always have that content. If you go and do a show or you do a podcast, make micro content out of it, have behind the scenes, whatever it is, but always have content. Always be consistent and never stop.
Absolutely, man. Like I was telling you, man, like you saying, like people might get tired of saying, but you never know who's watching. Like I was telling you before we shot this interview, I had somebody reach out to me last week. Guy I never even knew, and he was just asking me like, "Yo, how do you start a podcast?" I was like, "Man, basically, man, you just take your phone, anything, and just start, man. Like it's not going. Don't expect it to go how you think it's gonna go in the beginning, but man, you just gotta start." And he was just telling me, which I appreciate. He's like, "Yo, man, I remember watching your interview. You grabbed my attention when you did the interview with Trevor Booker.
Yeah.
And you know that was like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
So he said he's seen me since then, and I was like, man, I appreciate that because they let me know like I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still going. And I was like, man, I never even knew this dude. And he asking me like, how do you get started with a podcast? So I was like, man, and I don't mind sharing that stuff, man. Like I'm not one of those people, man. I'm just
you can't die with it. You can't die with it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know
man.
what I mean?
Like,
So
it's anything. Like basically, you can take your phone, anything. I would tell anybody, whatever you're doing, just get started.
yeah.
Like, cause I was like, man, people always say, man, well, you gotta start from somewhere. But how can you start from somewhere if you never even start?
Yeah.
Like, you gotta.
How will you make it if you never even try?
Yeah,
you know
like,
what I mean?
You gotta do something, man.
Yeah.
But I appreciate this stuff, and for anybody watching, man, just whatever you want to do, just get going and just don't stop, man. Just be consistent, like you were saying.
And don't let nobody tell you. Man, I quote rappers all the time. Jay-Z uncle said, "My uncle used to tell me I never sell a million records, and I sold a million records like a million times." You know what I mean? So it's like never ever. Like even his uncle told him that he'll never be dope as LL Cool J. I don't even like LL Cool J music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like it's all about perception and it's all about being consistent and keep going. No disrespect to LL Cool J.
Yeah, Jay-Z is an icon, man.
Yeah,
One of the biggest figures that we have nowadays. And man, like I was saying, you remember when we first did this? The first interview, you were the first video interview that we did with actual video footage. I didn't even have this. I wasn't using my camera. The only thing I had was the laptop, man. I was just recording, man. Like, and as you go along, you just gonna figure stuff out. Just do different things, man, and make adjustments. And it's still not perfect now, but like, man, I didn't even pay attention to like putting it on all these multiple platforms, like SoundCloud, or iTunes, or iHeartRadio, and all this stuff, man. But I was just like, man, I'm just going, stay consistent. And then I just figure stuff out along as I go, man. And I'm still learning now.
Yeah.
But like you said, man, you just gotta.
You live and you learn.
You live and you learn, stay consistent. But Troop, I appreciate you again, man. Before we get out of here, tell everybody your social media.
All right, man. You can follow me at Troop SC, TROOPSC on everything. That's Twitter, Instagram, whatever social media you got, man. Follow me on that. Get my music on Apple Music, Tidal, Spotify, Google Play, DZA for all my European people. I just found out about DZA. DZA is big overseas. So I'm on DZA, I'm on Napster, whatever you got, I'm on it. This is season 2.
Alright, thank you guys for tuning in again. Thank you, Miss Charlene from Charlene's Home Cooking. Thank you to Marcus Burnett for SUV TV. So if you want to watch any of the best high school basketball right now that's getting ready to tip off, make sure you check them out. And it's black owned as well, so of course definitely make sure we support all our people, but especially the ones who try to do something positive and create great content for our people. So until next time, keep chasing your dreams. This is Crossing Line Podcast. Thank you for listening.
What's up? This is homie Troop DZA. Rock with my boy Carlos Smith for Crossing Line Podcast. We're gonna be talking about DZA season 2 today or whatever. And if you can, stream DZA season 2 on all platforms and listen to my boy on Crossing Line Podcast everywhere. You.